Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Are you okay? In your neck of
When we dry them up, too cold. Now go too deep, you know. Yeah, you have to watch Joe, you know. Our troops, see there? Apple cider vinegar and our troops. Come up right, make them get saturated in the gravy and all of that.
On today's episode of the Jamaican cooking journey, I'll be sharing with you how to make a Jamaican wine slice. It is a little cake and you slice it. It is mostly on the wine path. It is very dark and it is supposed to taste a lot of wine. It is something similar as how you would do marble slice. So you bake it in a bun pan and you would slice it. So I have here, this is a 8.5 by 4.5. Yeah, so it's non-stick, and normally I always do a little greasing and a little lining. You could use a 9 by 5 too. I think that would be fine. So for this you need some butter, about half a cup, 1 cup of white granulated sugar, 2 cups of all-purpose flour. These are my little raisin agents, which is a tablespoon of baking powder and half of a teaspoon of baking soda, half of a teaspoon or a little less than half of a teaspoon of salt. These are my raisin agents with the salt. These are my little spices. I have in here 1 tablespoon of cinnamon powder, half of a tablespoon of mixed spice, and half of a teaspoon of nutmeg, freshly grated nutmeg, 2 eggs. Now this is what is gonna be the main thing. This is a very rich, shoot them up, Dad, wine mixture. So I used a strong wine, I used a fruit wine, and I also use a mild wine. So I used a fruit wine, really strong wine, and a fruity wine. I also put a little white rum, so you could do what you want to do. Also, very importantly, I added some molasses. Okay, so with that is happening, I'm gonna start by doing the butter. I'm gonna just whip the butter out a little and return. My butter has been softened. Now I'm gonna add my cup of white granulated sugar, and I'm gonna be doing a little creaming on the medium. 2 fresh eggs, and you can go 1 at a time, but for me, but you do your 1 at a time, and I'm gonna get the eggs in. Now that the eggs are in, you're gonna go on low. This is a real easy cake to put together, family. So I have preheated my oven over there to 175. These are cakes that I preheat my oven before I do. Complicated cakes, I really don't preheat my oven before, because they take long. Did I mention that you have got to have a little browning? I'm not sure. So now this here is my butter, my sugar, and my eggs. Now I am going to be needing to put in batches, or alternately my flour. So I'm gonna go sift my flour and my leavening or my rising ingredients and return. So I'll sift it with my 2 cups of flour. I'm gonna be putting this in about 3 different batches. So that is about 1, yes. And I'll cut and fold, and the norm with this regular cut and folding. The second, my spices, and I did tell you what it was, and you can use your spice of choice. It's supposed to taste spicy and have this wine taste. no more than about a half of a teaspoon of freshly squeezed green lime juice. About half of a teaspoon. Okay. So now we're gonna put in some browning. We have got to get it brown, and the last thing we're gonna put in is our, you see it's on the browner path. We did not use brown sugar because we want it to have this light texture. It must be springy. That is why we use the baking powder and the baking soda together. It must be springy. It must be, it's not supposed to be punnery, it's supposed to be light and springy. I'm gonna put in some browning right now, and it's supposed to be dark and with this wine taste. It's not a really hard cake to mix up. We're gonna fold in our browning right now. And as you can see, there is no wine added to it as yet, and it's so nice and fluffy. Look at it. It's so fluffy, and I haven't added the wine as yet. We want to get our browning mixed in thoroughly. And remember, when it's the heat, it is gonna get even darker. So this is looking so nice. Look at this. Look at this. You can see the lightness of the mixture. Really more like a chocolate pudding thing. Yes, that's how you want it. You see that swirly look? Yeah. Now we are gonna put in some of our wine. Not a lot, maybe about half a cup, because the rest of this mixture, we want to use it to wet the cake when it's finished. Now we are going to fold this in gently, so gently. And as you can see, it more looks like we're making a chocolate cake. We are not. As I fold in, look at the lightness. Look at it coming off the spatula. Okay, this is how you want your mixture to finish. Scraping around and making sure that all this wine is really strong, and look at that look. That is how you want it coming off the spatula. Properly well incorporated right now. We are going to pour it right inside our tin, and you want this to get every single bit of this, and I want you to pay attention to the texture of it going down into the pan. You want to get every single bit of this there. You don't want to lose none of this. You want to get it right down there into the pan. All of it. Guiding that along well with your spatula. We're going to do this and get right back to you. So nice. We have gotten all of our mixture out. So nice. You don't need to slam. You don't need to shake along. It's just as it is. Perfect. We're going to put it right in now, very gently in the middle of our oven at 175. We're going to give it on 1 hour and 10 minutes on that low temperature. Well, not low, 160 I would call low, but we're going to give it about 1 hour. Maybe yours can bake before, depending on the oven. After about an hour and 10 minutes, we'll return. Okay, now, cooking family, 1 hour on the dot, it was out. So me test it already, so look. You know the norm. Want to know the drill. So don't mind the cracks. What you want to do right now, you want to put a little of this wine mixture. Remember I told you to reserve some, and don't worry, because we have got to wait. And if you want to suck it up, you need to suck up some of this wine in the container right there. Not a lot, so we're going to leave it like that. We're going to leave it. Don't worry about the cracks. The wine will take care of it in due season. So we're going to leave it like that on the wire rack for another half an hour, I would say, in the container. After half an hour or 45 minutes, we will come back because it has absorbed some of that wine, making it moist, but not as moist as you would like it. So we cool it down a bit, and we're leaving it in there on the wire rack. Remember, I hope you are listening to this in a family. We're leaving it in the tin on the wire rack for another 45 minutes. As you take it out, you dredge it with some of that wine, let it cool it down and absorb the wine. You can see say a wine cake for real. So we're going to leave it there for another 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, we're going to come, remove it from the pan, put it directly onto the wire rack for another hour or hour and a half. Okay, and then we'll proceed from there. Must soon come. Okay, now family, we are so very much back, and what I did, remove from our pan, we put it on a wire rack, and we had to leave something underneath to catch, because we had used, and that is what you're supposed to do too. You're supposed to, whilst it's on the wire rack cooling, you're supposed to be so don't focus on what is happening other places. Focus on the slice. Look, this is it now. The wine cake. What we're gonna be doing now, it has been almost cooled, yes, and we have saturated it with the wine. So this is we use a lot of the light wine. They have the color. What we're gonna do, we are gonna slice. It is supposed to be thick slices, not thin slices. So I'm gonna walk you through the slicing. So it's supposed to be sliced like this. And if anybody that is watching and knows Jamaica wine slice, you know that is what it looks like. This is what a slice is supposed to look like. Okay? Oh, you smell it, Dad?
Yes, ma'am.
So you want to have thick slices, and you want to just glide right through, and make sure you're using a serrated knife. Very tender, very nice, very moist. That is just, that was just waiting on this wine slice to be cool. I said, Debbie, this thing smells so nice. Come on, girl, say, Mom, this wine slice smells so nice. So you want to get it in thick, nice slices. We don't slice them thin. This is my Jamaican wine slice. This is how it looks. Look at that. This is how you're supposed to have it. So I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, remember to give it a big fat thumbs up. Remember to follow this video. Follow the recipe. Follow the instructions that I did. I did it just for you. Moist and tender and delicate. It is finally cool. And I hope you do like. And I hope when you try, you will enjoy with your family. Thanks for watching. From my kitchen to yours, from my Jamaican kitchen to your family table, to your plate, and most of all to your stomach. It is a Debbie's wine slice done just for you. Remember to make sure, check in the description of this, all my other videos and lives for all of the information to how to get on to us, my Patreon link. We have revamped our merch store. Our merch is there again for summer. The link to the merch store will be there. Remember to be you, do you. Most of all, try to make this wine slice this summer for your family.